In February of 1959, the Ural Mountains were buried under relentless snow. The wind screamed across the ice, dropping visibility to almost zero and pushing temperatures well below -25 degrees Celsius. The group consisted of 9 seasoned, winter-hardened adventurers, carrying the gear and the expertise needed to survive the harshest conditions on Earth. Their expedition up the slope of a mountain known as Kalatsiak, or Mountain of the Dead, was a calculated, routine stop on a meticulously planned route. Because of that deep level of expertise, the fact that all 9 of them would be dead within days exists far outside the bounds of a simple accident born of inexperience. When search teams finally located their campsite days later, they found the tent pitched against a desolate, rocky slope. The heavy canvas had been slashed open from the inside, with jagged edges proving the cuts originated from within the shelter, rather than from the external wind. Lying inside that ruined shelter was nearly all of the group's cold-weather survival equipment. Their heavy coats, their thick boots, and their crucial supplies were completely untouched. Experienced mountaineers know that abandoning life-saving gear in -25-degree weather is a death sentence. To leave everything behind, whatever they perceived to be waiting for them inside that tent had to be more immediate than the threat of freezing to death in the dark. Outside the torn fabric, investigators found 9 sets of footprints leading directly away from the camp and down the slope into the blackness. This map of the tracks reveals a telling detail. The stride and spacing show the group moved at a steady, synchronized walking pace. While a sudden ambush typically triggers a chaotic, scattered sprint, this physical evidence points to an entirely different behavior, a forced, methodical retreat. Whatever pushed them out of the tent demanded an immediate evacuation, yet it allowed the group to stay together and maintain a disciplined pace down the mountain. Following those tracks down to the tree line, searchers discovered the first 2 bodies lying in the snow beneath a massive cedar tree. At this location, the hikers had actively fought to stay alive, building a small fire and breaking branches off the cedar tree high above the ground. Breaking branches at that height suggests they were either climbing away from a threat on the ground or trying to gain a clear vantage point to keep their eyes on the abandoned camp above them. As we can see on this map of the scene, the remaining victims were eventually found scattered across the wide expanse of snow between that cedar tree at the bottom and the ruined tent at the top. Their frozen bodies were positioned pointing back uphill. The severe cold had finally overridden their initial fear, leading them to attempt a desperate crawl back to their warm clothing. But the original threat had kept them pinned down until they succumbed to the elements. It took months of digging through deep snow to locate the final victims, whose bodies contained the most baffling forensic data of the entire case. These final hikers had suffered severe internal trauma, including completely crushed ribs and catastrophic, life-ending skull fractures. This diagram illustrates the bizarre forensic contradiction. The victims suffered the kind of bone-crushing damage associated with high-speed impacts, yet they had almost 0 external cuts, scrapes, or bruises. Decades of intense debate followed, but modern scientists have gravitated toward one highly specific natural phenomenon to explain this exact combination of data: a rare slab avalanche. A slab avalanche occurs when a localized block of hard-packed snow cleanly fractures and drops as a single solid weight. As it detached above the tent, it would have created a deep rumble, triggering the frantic slash through the canvas. Upon impact, the heavy snow acted like a massive cushion, delivering thousands of pounds of kinetic energy without breaking the skin. This scientific model satisfies the forensic data left on the mountain and shows how rapidly nature can outmaneuver even the most prepared experts. The clinical logic of the avalanche theory sits in sharp contrast to the visceral terror those 9 people experienced during their final hours in the dark. The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains embedded in history because it strikes at our primal fear of an uncontrollable wilderness. The mystery endures as a chilling reminder that no amount of human preparation can overcome a natural force so violent it reduces survival to a choice between 2 fatal options.